Winnipeg Jets are undefeated in regulation in 6 straight. They shut out the Chicago Blackhawks in the first meeting of the year, and Hellebuyck has his 30th career shutout in the National Hockey League. What an afternoon for the Winnipeg Jets.
And he makes sure of it with a couple of sterling saves there with the clock ticking down, Paul, as he kicks out that left pad to make sure that 30th shutout of his career stays in his books.
Well, the Winnipeg Jets scored early and often in the second period, added one more in the third. 3 power play goals and a shorty get it done here today. And the Jets improved to 7-3-1. Chicago will drop to NHL 500 at 5-5-2. The final score, once again, the Winnipeg Jets 4.
What a perfect way to start off your Saturday, a 4-0 win for the Winnipeg Jets. Good afternoon, everyone. You are watching the Winnipeg Jets Postgame Show presented by Budweiser. I'm Sara Orlesky. Today marks the first of 4 meetings between the Blackhawks and Jets this season, with these two teams early on in this campaign so far sitting within the top 3 of the Central Division heading into today's game. The win tonight extends the Jets' point streak to 6 games, with Josh Morrissey's first of the season proving to be the game winner. Over the next half hour, you will hear from both players on set as well as taking you into the dressing room as we break down this big win for the Jets, a complete win for the Winnipeg Jets today. Let's take a look at the highlight of the afternoon, though. We won't call it the highlight of the night, we'll call it the afternoon. Already up 1-0. Special teams, such a storyline in this game, and we're going to give it to Adam Lowry, his second shorthanded goal of the season. 2-0 is what made it a big goal that came just over about 2.5 minutes after Josh Morrissey opened up the scoring. All right, happy to have Mitchell Clinton join me.
Happy to be back.
Happy to be here and happy to be able to talk about another win for it. Always makes things a little bit more enjoyable. And you and I were talking before the game, and we said 2 things we wanted to key in on. How are the Winnipeg Jets going to start? And then what was their power play going to do? So let's not even get to the start. We'll talk about that later. We'll go out of order. Let's talk about the power play, though, because obviously special teams, such a big storyline in this game. You know, going into this game, they had just 6 second period goals throughout the season. And then the power play comes alive. Obviously, we saw Adam Lowry's shorthanded goal as well. They had the 3-0 lead then after 40 minutes. When you look at the power play, let's start with Josh Morrissey's goal. What was it that stood out to you most about it?
I think it's just how they got into the zone and how they were able to set up as quickly as they did. Sometimes, even if you lose that first draw and it goes all the way down the ice, which is exactly what happened on that goal, it was a bit, sometimes it's a bit of a struggle for the Jets to get set up. And that wasn't the case here. You could see it was 43 seconds in. You lose about 20 seconds when it goes down the ice right off the face-off. But the Jets were able to get back up the ice, looked organized, they got set up, which means your entry was clean, and then they were able to get set up. And look at the guys that got on the ice. You know, Sam Gagner, great traffic in front of the net. You can barely see Arvid Soderblom there, the goaltender for the Chicago Blackhawks. And then the rest of the way, I mean, it's just skill. When you've got guys on the ice like Pierre-Luc Dubois, like Kyle Connor, there's so many shooting options that the penalty killers are going to be moving around, and these guys are going to be able to pick apart those seams, and that's exactly what the Jets were able to do in this one. And the other thing with the power play, too, is some different styles of goals, too, right? You know, you had the setups like these first two, and then, of course, there was Nate Schmidt's off the rush as well.
Well, so let's talk about Nate Schmidt's goal, because you mentioned about how they were able to do it in different ways, and there has been so much attention to the power play. It has been struggling for them, and we say that we know that this is a team, and this is a narrative that has certainly been the case over the last few years, is that you know that this is a team that can score, and the power play in previous seasons has not been an issue. It has been slow going for this one. So for them to be able to get goals in different ways, what do you think that does for it, especially when you look at, say, the way that Nate Schmidt was able to score?
Well, exactly, and it's something that I think when you see with this group is, yeah, you know, when they get set up, they're dangerous, but this is also a team that in transition can be extremely dangerous, and we saw that on Nate Schmidt's goal. And this is Cole Perfetti, this is just what he does super well, is he's just able to wait for that perfect moment to make the pass, and whether they're set up or not, he's kind of been able to master that a little bit. You can see a little hesitation here. He's waiting, and that's what opens up the seam to get it to Nate Schmidt. And that's just offensive instincts that these guys all have, and Nate Schmidt knows, hey, if I join and I'm a second layer coming into this attack, I'm probably going to be open, and that's exactly what he was there, and able to cash in, and Mambo number 5 got to play in the building, which is huge. It
was huge. So this was the second goal of the season, the first one coming in LA, so didn't get to hear Mambo number 5. When you think about all the goal songs that we're going to be able to hear over this season, I think that Mambo number 5 is one that people have 100%. Been waiting to hear for it. But also, so let's talk though about Josh Morrissey. Let's go back to his, because I want to show his reaction on the bench if we have it for it. So this was after he scored his goal, and there has been so much talk. His song's going. I wish that everyone could hear right now what the reaction of the crowd was as he played off it too. You just look at how much fun that these guys having, and obviously when you win, it's fun. They're 6-3-1 so far on the season, but to be able to see that energy, and I think that especially the energy that it creates around the team, in the building as well, people were really able to feed off of it today, both players and fans.
Well, and I think songs like Josh Morrissey's that have a little bit of a beat to it, I think we're going to start to see the fans get into it a little bit too, as they did right there. And of course, the thing to remember is you can go on Spotify and find this playlist. It's got all of it. So make sure you're ready for the next Winnipeg Jets home game.
I completely admitted last game that I do not know all of the songs. I had to Google a whole bunch.
Well, I know Sandstorm real well, and that's Adam Lowry's, and we got to hear that as well. He had a couple of road goals so far this year. Sandstorm got to play in the building. As
much as people joke, as much as we joke about Mambo number 5 and the ability, or Pierre-Luc Dubois' Hey Baby, and being able to sing along with it, you know how excited people are when Sandstorm is be able to. You look at Twitter, there's a whole bunch of people that were very excited to be able to hear that song. So let's talk though about the start to this game.
Sure.
Let's go back a little bit for it. When we talk about the start for it, they came out strong for it, but it was a little bit a tale of two halves. And actually, you know what? Sorry, I'm going to, just as I'm trying to throw to you about that, we're going to talk about it in a minute. We are going to take you right into the room right now. Connor Hellebuyck is speaking to the media.
Connor, a lot of the talk this week about making life a little bit easier for you. What did you find in the first 2 games of the homestand here so far?
Our detail's been right. We're getting everyone's A game right now. We got a lot of character in this room, and it's starting to show. We care about winning, and we're showing it.
Special teams, obviously a big story today through power play goals, a shorthanded goal. You have the vantage point kind of from your net, but when this team can sort of get the special teams going, it can be a real weapon, right?
Yeah, it's so crucial in this game to get that momentum, and once you have it, things start coming easy. And we played the right way, right from the start, and we got rewarded for it. It wasn't early, but we grinded and we got our opportunities, and we cashed in.
that early save, I think it was on Radish, had that great chance. That seemed like maybe one of your toughest ones of the night or the day. Can you just kind of describe what you saw in that play?
Yeah, I think it was Taves pulled up, shot a low one right at my toe, and I just barely missed it with my stick to deflect to the corner. And I knew right away that there was going to be someone on it, and once I saw it was their stick, I was able to get a good beat on it and beat him to the far post.
Connor, what stood out about Josh Morrissey's play? Obviously, you've played with him for a lot of time, and the way that he started off the year, obviously, not just leading your team in scoring, but with what he's given you on the back end, what have you seen from him?
He's so smooth, everything he does. His skating's so smooth. He tricks guys just by turning speed on out of nowhere, because he's always loaded, he's always ready. And I love passing with him, too, because he just catches everything and breaks it out. He's just been phenomenal on both ends of the ice.
You consider the third period of the last game against Montreal and then patches of this game where you had so much offensive zone time. Does it feel to you like the 5-on-5 play in front of you is really starting to gel in the areas that the Coach Bowness wants?
I think so. I think our details are right, and when we're playing that way, we're not really giving the other team free opportunities. And this league's so good, you can't give away free opportunities. We have a lot of good players in this room, and when we don't do that, we really take advantage of it.
We've seen a lot of great goaltending from you over the years. Where do you feel your game is at right now compared to past moments in your career?
Well, getting better every year. This is probably the best I've been, and hopefully I keep growing it.
You've said before you love afternoon games, right? I take it that hasn't changed, and a day like today just kind of reinforces that?
Yeah, this just solidifies it. There's not a whole lot of thought that goes into the day, and you show up and you battle, and that's what I love to do. That's when I have fun.
30 career shutouts now, a nice round number. Do you remember your first one? And does it seem like now be at 30, like how quickly time goes, I guess?
Yeah, I do remember the first one, and it's crazy. But let's not stop at 30. How about that?
Do you need a shutout song as opposed to a goal song?
We should think about that. But at the end, I'm just happy that the guys played the right way, and it's a team shutout tonight.
What would your shutout song be?
No, you can't.
Say anything until the interview.
Connor Hellebuyck with 29 saves on it. Nate Schmidt joining me fourth. I mean, it goes without saying, obviously.
This was just because I blocked a couple shots. That is about it. Yeah, this looks great. It feels great. It smells nice. I can't wait to smell it after 82, though.
Well, it's good that you have it then game 11. And
early.
Early in is key for it. You mentioned, you blocked some of the shots out there for you. How are you feeling afterwards?
First one was great. Right on the blocker. And
we saw you struggle to get up.
It did blow it up,
yeah.
Which is not ideal. Sounds ideal. But the second one kind of got up underneath. That one didn't feel as good. But sometimes on the PK, it's kind of, when you look back, you look through the job description of defenseman, it says right there right at the bottom of section 2B, block shots on the PK. There it is. So, sometimes you just got to do it. And honestly, it feels good after it's over.
Well, fair enough. Also, what had to have felt good was hearing Mambo number 5.
Yes. Man, I was about ready to sing on the bench.
Why didn't you? I was waiting. If there was anybody, we showed just a few minutes ago Josh Morrissey's reaction on the bench as he was bopping along for it. And I thought if there was anybody that might start singing that Nate, it was going to be you.
Yeah, I was pretty excited. I kind of blacked out for a second. Honestly, especially since at that point of the game, Dilly was yelling at me. We were all excited, and we were both kind of been talking about getting on the board, getting involved. We've had a lot of chances. It was just fun to be able to kind of put that one on ice for the rest of the third period there.
Absolutely. So when you look at that game as a whole for it, the way, especially, I guess in the back 40 minutes in particular, though, the way that we're able to produce, obviously the power play gets going. PK, the shorthanded goal from Lowry able to contribute as well, huge for it. Connor Hellebuyck with the saves, but to be able to get what looked like a complete win with so many different people being able to contribute, what does that do, or what can it do for a group?
I think when you look at good teams, you have to have contributions from everybody. You're going to have your goaltender be able to make saves for you. Yeah, with Connor, he's able to do that every night. I think it's really important for us is you get up and down your lineup, you get block shots, hits, pucks in deep, all that stuff that you talk about. But if everyone's doing it, and you're doing it, and we roll it over from period after period after period, and we also said something in the locker room before the second and third period, like, guys, till the first TV time, let's just get it in and just go to work. Nothing at the blue line, and I think that has been our bread and butter here for the last a couple of games. How well we've played by doing that, and since we've started kind of having that type of MO, it's been a big difference for us.
And what is the communication like? I mean, when things are going well for the group right now, and obviously, you guys have been able to find the wins, even if they haven't always been the prettiest. But when you look at the intermissions, I mean, what is the communication like in it? Is it a quiet room, or are the guys chatting?
Well, when you score a couple of goals before the period ends, I think the communication's pretty high, actually, when you come into the locker room. I just think
everyone's happy.
Yeah, everyone's pretty jazzed up. I mean, I always tell JMO before he goes on the ice for the power play, I was like, dude, I don't want to go out there. That means we scored. I mean, like, go, do your thing, please. So he scores. I came back and I just kind of gave him the, eye, right? And so it's awesome. I think, especially when you get those goals late at the end of periods, I think that intermission really feels you got a lot more energy going into the room, and I think guys are a lot more talkative. And I think you just feel that energy to come back out for the next period when you have a really good last five.
And I mean, I could keep you on for this entire half hour for it. So sorry, exactly. But so final question though for you, because I will let you go. Or what is it that you like most about the way that this team is playing right now?
I like Bones going up and down the bench. It's awesome. Having him back is definitely been nice. I liked our commitment to our game. We talked a little bit about before how important it is for us for the first, until that first TV timeout. Guys, we're going north every time. I know we can make plays. I know we can, and we got guys skilled enough to do it. But when everyone's doing it, it kind of feels wrong if you're not doing it, right? And so I think it's really important for our guys to see that Scheif's line's doing it, and then Doobie's line's doing it, and then, Wheels and Fetz are holding on to pucks down low. And I just think it makes it tough. We've got a lot of big, strong forwards that can hang on to it. As a defenseman, I hate it. I hate when guys do that. It's so annoying when guys just sit and hang on to it. You waste so much energy trying to play on the body, and that's why I think our team's been going really good this last two.
Well, if you're looking for input, which I know you
always
haven't asked for,
I would always take input.
If you're looking for input, next time you score a goal on home ice, I'm just saying, if you could just
do a little
bit
dance.
of singing or a little something.
If it would just play the song a little longer, maybe make the TV a little, until they drop the puck a little longer. Maybe I can get me down the hallway. I got a little salsa dance.
We know you're a performer. I know. And thanks so much for joining us, Nate.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. Let's take a look at what the next 4 games are coming up for the Jets. Perhaps we will hear Mambo number 5 again on Tuesday, November 8th. That is Filipino Heritage Night as well for it. And then you look they go on the road for 2 games in Calgary and Seattle, and then they come back. That November 17th game, a big game against the Ducks, but it is also the Hall of Fame game in which Teemu Selanne and Teppo Newman are being inducted. All right.
I don't know how to follow.
I was just going to say.
I really don't. I'm going to be honest with everybody.
Do you want to dance at all?
I don't know if I need an entrance song to equal the goal song. I don't know.
We might want to consider that. We might want to consider that going forward. Before Nate came in here, we were hearing from Connor Hellebuyck.
Yeah.
Let's just go back to the play of him, because mentioned that first period, and the Jets come out, but then Chicago certainly pushed back in that back half. They had some opportunities for it too, but you look at the way that Connor Hellebuyck has been playing. We obviously know the impact that he had, particularly on that last road trip, in helping them get the 5 out of 6 points.
Yeah.
But to be able to see him back in the zone for it, he's been such a key component to them in their wins so far.
Well, and his workload in the 2 games to open this homestand have been arguably less in terms of shots faced than he had in 1 game against Vegas, right? So I think this first stop here on Taylor Radish kind of gives you the idea that, okay, once again, number 37's locked in, and now he's got 2 shutouts, and he's in and amongst the league leaders, if not tied for the league lead in that department already. I always feel it's really good for him to get that first one out of the way. I remember one season a few seasons ago where it took almost 40, 50 games, and he was always so close, and now he's got a couple already, so you just know he's absolutely locked in. He's making stops like that when the team needs it, because like you mentioned, Chicago did have a push in that second half of the first period, and anytime you got Patrick Kane walking in on you like that, he just shuts down that 5-hole. That exact move that he does there to make that save, yes, it looks routine, but that's something that in the morning skate, he works on that drop and making sure that drop is quick. It's the last part of his I call it his starting and goal tonight routine. It's the last thing he does. It's about 4 or 5 shots with Dylan Sandberg. He just drops down, makes that stop. So when he made that stop against Patrick Kane, an elite player in this league, obviously, I mean, that's just something that he works on every game.
Yeah, and so important in all saves. I always say not created equal, timely saves too, and that certainly was as well. Let's head back to the room right now and hear from Josh Morrissey.
Team is consistency. How much did you feel this game looked like the last game?
Yeah, I think that was a great effort today. I mean, first period I thought we came out well. They got some momentum as it went along, but we're sticking to our game plan. Obviously tonight special teams was huge, and again, Helly and net was fantastic, but I think the things we're trying to see out of our team are, like you said, becoming more and more consistent, and hopefully we can keep that going. Obviously, we'll have a big test on Tuesday night against Dallas, but it's another step in the right direction.
Josh, just a few minutes ago, Connor said that he feels like his play, this is the best he's ever been. Those were his words. How far can this team go? And he's playing at this level, considering he was a Vezina Trophy winner a short time ago.
Yeah, I mean, he's unbelievable. If he's saying that, I believe him. He looks just fantastic this year. He's been sharp from the first day of camp, and he's everything he does is just we like to have him in our net. So if he's playing like that and feeling that way and confident, that gives our team a ton of confidence. And he's been our rock back there for a long time now, and it's great to hear him feeling it like that. And we like I said, it gives us the confidence that we can do our job in front of him and play the right way, and he'll do his thing every night to give us a chance to win.
One of the fun moments in the game that really seemed to get the crowd going was after your goal, and the cameras caught you bopping along to your goal song. What's the story behind that goal song, or is there much of a story behind it?
I just love the song. It just gets me going. Feel like I'm always in a good mood whenever I listen to the song, and I like sort of the way that maybe makes the crowd start buzzing around. So I don't know. That's really all it was. But I love the song, and I think I said it in the intermission. Hopefully we can hear a lot more of it this year. That'd be nice.
Josh, about talking about go in your game. What's allowed you to have the start that you've had this year? Not just the offense, but the overall game in general.
I think overall just trying to build off last season, and I think the coaching staff has been just fantastic, and the new systems that we're implementing here, I think it suits my game, and we're just getting started. I feel like there's a lot of parts of the game I can keep improving on, and as we all can, but the offensive stuff, work hard in the off season to improve my offensive skills and all that kind of thing. But at the end of the day, when you play with great players and you get those guys the puck, good things are going to happen. So just trying to, like I said, keep getting better every day and keep building.
I know you're missing a big weapon in Nikolai, obviously on the power play, but to get 3 tonight, I think you guys have been in kind of the lower tier here, but which not used to seeing the Jets have the power play that low. So what does it mean just to get 3 and get rewarded like that?
Yeah, I mean, I thought we've stuck with it. We've worked hard in practice, and for those of you that are at our practices, we've been working on it a lot. Communicating amongst each other as players and also with the coaches. I think there's a lot of games where we could have been rewarded with power play goals, and either it just didn't happen for us, and sometimes that's the way the game goes. But I like that we've stuck with it, and tonight I thought, it was huge to get those 3 and get rewarded for, like I said, I think doing a lot of good things, and it's kind of been coming for us. So we got to keep out working the kill and try to build that power play as we move along here.
Josh, I know it's...
Confidence can be a great thing when it comes to special teams. We mentioned 3 for 4 on the power play, but penalty kill, killing off both of their penalties as well. Josh was asked about the fact that Nikolai Ehlers is sidelined too. You take a look at the injuries that the Winnipeg Jets are dealing with right now. No Nikolai Ehlers, still no timeline set for his return. Logan Stanley has now been out for 5 games for it. Morgan Barron sidelined as well as the wrist surgery for it. And then on top of that, that certainly had an impact because those 3 were regulars, but then were also making impacts their own way. But Rick Bowness deciding today to switch the lineup a little bit, make some depth changes as well.
Yeah, Kyle Capobianco gets into his first game, and I thought he was really good. Like, he just kind of came in, he impressed the coaching staff in training camp, and he just kind of stayed within himself, got up the ice, which is what Rick Bowness is looking for from the defense. He was able to get up the ice a little bit, created some opportunities, held the line when necessary, made it difficult for Chicago to get into the Winnipeg end. I thought for a guy that hadn't played since October 1st, he really settled in really nicely. And then as for Jansen Harkins getting in for Dominic Toninato, I mean, it was interesting because Arvid Soderblom, who started the game for Chicago, really only made it through 40 minutes, was the guy that was in goal for Rockford when Rockford was here with the American Hockey League playing the Manitoba Moose. Jansen Harkins scored on him, shorthanded. So I thought that maybe there's a little bit of good karma going there, but Jansen's always going to be a guy that's got a lot of speed, and he's going to be able to get in on pucks. I thought he was really good at getting in on forechecks today. It's always going to be, I always feel like for guys that are getting into the lineup, it's always going to be a challenge of trying to make an impression without trying to do too much at the same time. So I thought Kyle Capobianco was just really calm. You could tell he's a guy that's played a number of games in this league, even though he's still a little bit of a younger guy. And then Jansen Harkins as well. You know, a couple of shifts where I think he tried to do 3 things at once, but at the same time, I think that kind of wore off after the first couple of shifts, and he seemed to get really comfortable as the game went on as well. I mean, he's a guy who played 77 games last year, right? So he's a guy that I don't think the challenge of playing in the NHL is anything that's overly crazy for him. At the same time, you know, he wants to make an impression. He wants to stay with the big club.
Absolutely. And what a great start he's had down with the Moose.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't want to be down there, obviously, was disappointed about being assigned down there, but has certainly made an impact with it, and then trying to make an impact when he can up here with the Jets. One of the things that we've been excited about this season so far is Runway, which is the behind-the-scenes series that we've been producing to give you a different look at the Winnipeg Jets that we haven't had the opportunity to see before. It debuts on Jets on TSN Games, and then you can find it afterwards on our website. And here is a look at episode 3.
I think it's been very clear to anybody that's been around the hockey club that it's a very different outlook.
Every year, you get a little bit older, more experience, but the excitement never goes away.
Takes a look at the home opener. You don't want to miss that one. We've got a bunch in store for you coming up throughout this season. Let's take a look at the next game for the Winnipeg Jets. The Dallas Stars come in, as mentioned, Filipino Heritage Night for it. The Stars in action. I believe right now, last I saw, they were leading the Edmonton Oilers, although I don't have an updated score on it for you. This is when, as of right now, these are the top 2 teams that you're looking at in the Central Division. We know that Rick Bowness was not able to be down in Dallas when these 2 teams met before. This could be a great game that we've got in store for us on the 8th.
Yeah, I can't wait. It's actually been the one on the road, on the homestand, that I've been looking forward to the most, if only because of where they are in the Central Division standings. And of course, you know, the Rick Bowness storyline is another part of it, but it's just 2 teams that are kind of similar. You know, they got the back end that can get involved and can make things happen. And I mean, we're seeing what Josh Morrissey is doing right now. Brendan Dillon nearly had his first of the year today, making a hard cut around Jake McCabe, Nate Schmidt, as we saw on the postgame show. And then you look at the Dallas roster, Miro Heiskanen. I mean, John Klingberg's not there anymore, but you wouldn't know because that back end is still so mobile, still so active. And then up front, there's all the skill in the world, and Jason Robertson and Tyler Seguin and Jamie Benn maybe aren't producing at the level that they were previously, but at the same time, they're still players that you have to keep an eye on. So yeah, just 2 really good teams that with top spot in the Central on the line.
Yeah, I mean, just your average,
No big deal.
Your average Tuesday
It's only
night.
November.
It might be early in the standings, but obviously as we get closer as well, there's always that talk about American Thanksgiving, where people are in the where teams are in the standings. Then, so every point is so important. When we think last year to some of the early season losses maybe that the Winnipeg Jets had, and when you look bigger picture over 82 games about how down the stretch you think, oh, if only you'd had that 1 point there or 2 points there. But we are going to go to, in just a moment, we're going to hear from head coach Rick Bowness. But also, I want to talk about the reverse retro jerseys because we saw those today.
Amazing.
Amazing. I thought so as well. Those will be for sale shortly, but one of 7 times that we will see them this season. I think thumbs up from everybody all around. All right, let's head though to the Matt Frost Media Center. It's time to hear from head coach Rick Bowness.
After Montreal the other night and now today, is there a little more company, a little more crowded in terms of that reference?
Yeah, we're getting there. I didn't like the last couple of minutes of that first period. I thought we But again, it was a great period right up until the last couple of minutes, but some self-inflicted problems there, but we're getting there.
We've seen your team now play a few of these games, even the Rangers season opener, where it was a tight, low-scoring affair for a while, and then you guys kind of break it open a bit. Is that a sign, I guess, of a good team, that they're comfortable when there's not a lot happening and you don't panic, and then you eventually kind of pull away?
Yeah, like even a couple of those games we won on the road where we didn't play very well. Good team, and I keep telling the guys that good teams find a way to win. You bend a little bit, don't break. And we feel very confident in the offense. We've got the D like 5 points from our defense tonight. That's huge. I know there's power plays, but they're involved a lot more. So we're confident in our offensive abilities and our ability to put the puck in the net. We just got to continue to just stress that we're going to get good offense from good team defense.
What have you learned about Josh Morrissey in this last month and change?
When I told him in the summer when I talked to him, I remember coming in here a couple of years ago, and a lot of our pre-scout was on him, that he was their best defenseman, and we had to be aware of him on the ice, and that's what I'm seeing now. Like he's dynamic with his skating. He's got elite hockey IQ, and we talked yesterday about just trusting that and don't overthink it, and don't overanalyze things. Just trust your instincts, and he's got great instincts, great skill, and he's very, very poised with the puck, and he's just. And listen, he's a world-class skater as well. So this is what I kind of expected from him.
He said his skill set. I mean, he's benefiting from the system. But do you think his skill set also is a perfect fit that way? Is it sort of like which is the chicken and which is the egg? I guess.
I don't get all bent out of shape on the system. You got to let your players play, and we're kind of letting him play, right? So. He knows he's got the green light to join the rush and lead the rush if he can and skate the puck out of the zone. And some of those decisions, they're not based on a system. They're just based on his abilities. So that's what I mean. He's got the green light. So I wouldn't, don't put too much emphasis on his system. Put an emphasis on his ability to skate and read the play and his hockey IQ and his skill set.
You learned in kind of dovetailing off that, a lot of players in this league play through pain and all that kind of thing, and Josh gets banged up sometimes, and he's been dealing with something else this year, dealing with that too. What have you seen from him through that period of time?
He's been banged up a little bit, and he bounces right back. He's taken some tough hits, because again, on the pre-scouts now, you got to believe the other team is focusing on him, and he plays through it. I saw him when they were on the road. He took a couple of big hits, and he didn't miss a shift. So it also tells you what a great competitor he is, and a great teammate. That's why he wears the A. Like, he's a really, really good teammate. He's a positive guy, and the guys have a lot of trust in him. But don't ever underestimate his competitive level how he competes.
I can imagine when you come in and you're trying to change the way a team plays, there has to be a little bit of a sales job in trying to convince them that the way you want them to play is going to be successful. Josh had just said that we're starting to see the way that Rick wants us to play and how it pays off. Is that what you're seeing, that they're kind of cluing into, this is what he wants, this is why it works?
The last couple of games, we've done a good job of cutting down the chances against, regardless what the shot clock. Some of those shot clocks, I don't worry about that as much as I worry about the grade A's, and we've cut down on those grade A's. And again, we have full confidence in our ability to score, but we've for the most part have cut from early in the year. We've cut down on those chances against, and that's huge for this team.
And I think it was either Connor or Josh had talked about the way that one of the things they see is that it doesn't put as much pressure on the Stars, because they feel like they're seeing that the style of game is going to give them a chance to play every time. You don't need to rely on Connor doing his thing or someone going out and scoring it. Do you feel like the pressure, are you taking the pressure off the Stars on this team and doing what you're doing?
Yeah, it's a team game, and I've mentioned this a couple of times, that we want every line to look the same without the puck, and we're getting there. We're not there 100%, but we're getting there. And if we can get every line doing that, then the skill sets take over. And so, so we're making good progress in that way.
Wanted to ask about Nate Schmidt's game today. Big block at the end of the first, big PK block, some good work. Then he gets paid, and I saw you were reaching over patting his back after the goal. What's the message?
Yeah, you know what? So you don't kill penalties unless you're going to be willing to block shots, and he ate a couple of pucks. So it goes back to winning some faceoffs, getting it down the ice every chance, so you don't put your teammate in those positions where they got to eat a puck. But he's fearless. But he was telling me before the game, I love afternoon games, and he backed it up today. Thank you.
Sorry, Rick, just to clarify on the 2 lineup changes today, both those guys healthy?
Yeah.
Sandberg and...
Yeah, and neither one of them played their way out of the lineup. And I've said all along, like, I wanted to get Kyle into a game. And Harks has been one of their best players with the Moose. He's skating well down there. So you bring him up, you don't want him to sit him in the stands. We got to get him in the lineup. And like Kyle had a great training camp, and his practice habits have been excellent, and he's kept himself ready to go when it showed today.
And then just last one, any chance Nikolai is on the ice Monday or still?
At this point, I would say no.
Nate Schmidt loves afternoon games. I love afternoon games. Who doesn't love them? 4-0 was the final with the Winnipeg Jets, a 29-save shutout for Connor Hellebuyck. So we heard from Nate Schmidt. He was in a great mood. Everybody was after the big win. So what better way to end off our show than to add a few extra smiles to you? Take a look at this. Who doesn't love ending a show with dogs? I wonder if we can make this into a regular segment. Or yesterday, some of the Winnipeg Jets taking pictures with their dogs. It was a great day around the rink. All of this being done for Jets Pets, a calendar that is being put out, an initiative by Winnipeg Jets wives and girlfriends. Will be out in December. It's so nice of them to help you with your holiday shopping, all in support of Darcy's Ark. We'll have more details for you on that in the coming weeks. All right, that is it for us. Thanks so much for joining us. Mitchell Clinton had to leave. He's got to go pick out his entrance song for the next time he joins me for it. But 4-0 Winnipeg Jets win. Make sure that you join us on Tuesday when the Dallas Stars come to town.